This week, we're focusing on what you need to rebuild stronger after a narcissistic hurricane. Now, yesterday we shared with you about experiencing the recent hurricanes that I had to deal with, Helene and Milton. We talked about my personal rule of when in doubt, get out, and why we have rules for that and how that compares to a Cat 3 level narcissistic hurricane. Now, today we're going to be talking about the tools and skills you'll need to rebuild stronger in your life after a narcissistic hurricane. And we need to be really intentional about acquiring those tools and skills that are needed if we want to rebuild. The idea is not just to get back to how things were, but to be stronger and to be better in every respect, to have a lot more wisdom that's been gained than we did before. Okay, we just don't want to go back to it. And that's a mistake I see a lot of women making. They just want to get back to who they were before. And like you may have heard me say many times before, that woman is gone. Okay, you're a new woman now. And whether you're a stronger woman, a weaker woman, a more positive, impactful woman, influential woman, or lesser so, depends on what you do to rebuild. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things, Wendy, that we learn from being through storms?
I know you and I have talked about this a little bit simply because you've been through types of storms I haven't been through with hurricanes and things that they come through afterwards, and they do look at things like building codes and what stood and what didn't stand and what survived. And I'm sure people have seen things about plane crashes too, like what parts of the plane were okay, or if a plane crashed, who survived and who didn't, and figuring out why a part of the plane was safer than a different part of the plane. So
it just makes sense.
It does. It makes sense to go back and look at what survived, what lived through the storm, what actually seemed stronger than I expected it to be. What did I expect to survive that didn't, that got shredded to pieces? And so it gives you a chance to really look at who you are, who you were in that moment, what was in your life, and to see what survived and came out well and what didn't. And it shows you where your personal vulnerabilities are. And we all have them. We all have strengths. We all have vulnerabilities. The problem isn't being a whole person with finite resources. The problem is having those resources used in ways that weren't meant to be used in those ways or to be abused in those ways. So it's wise to go back and say, what do I have? What is still standing? What is strong? What needs to be shored up? What needs to be rebuilt?
Yeah, because if you just go back to the way things were, whether it's in your house or whatever, or in your life, if you just go right back to it, then you're vulnerable because storms happen.
Yes.
They happen in the natural and they happen in life. And sometimes we don't see it coming. And, sadly, a lot of people, they just don't learn from storms.
No.
And so they don't use it as a way to grow, to get better.
And they stay vulnerable in all the same ways.
Yes.
They can be hurt in exactly the same way by the same type of person. And you don't want that.
Yeah. And what's really sad about when they do that too, is they start to think, well, I guess this is the way life is. This is just as good as it gets. And, that's my lot in life. And that is a lie from the pit of hell.
Yeah. There's no need to settle for living in ruins.
Right.
Absolutely no need. It's a way for you to figure out what was healthy and strong and what was unhealthy. It's a way for you to look at relationships and figure out where your lines are, what can't be crossed. And it gives you a chance to say, okay, after the storm, what do I want this to look like now? What kind of life do I want? How do I build that? How do I protect that? How do I nurture that? And like you said, sadly, a lot of people, because that's not easy work. Cleaning up after a storm is messy and dirty and disheartening.
All sacrifices.
And sacrifices. Yeah. So a lot of people don't do that, and you need to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we do that, when we evaluate, when we're intentional about growth, and when we do all the things so that we emerge better, then we're practicing that principle that says that God can take all things and work it together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose, because we can emerge on the other side of that so much better. If we don't do that, then we're living out a different spiritual truth and I'll share this. It's harsh. It's harsh,
Yeah.
but it's meant to smack us between the eyes
Yeah.
because
And I
it's
think it's
just stating a
graphic.
fact.
Yeah, it's graphic on purpose. So,
Yes. All right. Are you ready? You're listening to us going, what the heck? Brace
yeah.
yourself. Proverbs 26:11 says, as a dog returns to its vomit, so
Mhm.
fools repeat their folly.
Mhm.
And that is a smack in the eyes, a cold fish slap,
Yeah.
that hopefully wakes us up, because that's a horrible image in your
Mhm.
mind. And we don't want to be the fool that just goes back and repeats foolishness.
Well, no, because obviously the poor dog ate something that didn't settle well and already made them sick. Why go back to the exact same
Right,
thing that didn't
right.
work the first time and already hurt you and made you sick? We don't want to do that. And what's nice is just like after a storm, there are entire companies. My neighbor has a company. She has a company where she goes in after water damage, fire damage, storm damage, and
Mhm.
they repair things. She's got a truck. They've got tools. They have a plan. They know exactly what to do to set things up. And the same can be true if you've been through some type of abuse. There are tools out there and plans out there that can help you.
That was an amazing segue.
But it's true because I
I
saw
didn't
the
see that
big
coming,
truck.
but it was perfect.
Well, no, because the truck is right there parked in the street right now. I saw it this morning. It made me
Yep.
think of this.
So, segue directly into the Cinderella No More Academy and the
Mhm,
Cinderella Success Story coaching program that we
mhm,
have. And in there that is exactly what Wendy was just talking about.
yeah,
This is where we come in and we evaluate, we repair, we have the tools, we help you with things so that you come out better.
mhm,
And what we found is there's three primary problems. The walking wounded, and that
yeah,
has to do with the whole emotional side of things. Your identity has been eroded.
mhm,
So now you have imposter syndrome and all kinds of stuff going on. And you're dealing with a life that feels lackluster, meaning you're just kind of going through the days
mhm,
and you don't feel very passionate about things. You just feel weary all the time. You've lost a lot of influence and you're not really walking in the way and the kind of life that God would have you live.
mhm,
And you're not making that kingdom impact that He intended you to have. So the goal is to learn the skills to move from being the walking wounded to living emotionally free, and to restore your true identity so that it unlocks your best self better than you ever were before, and to replace those lackluster lifestyle patterns to create that powerful life that you want to live, that life of impact and meaning and influence, not just to be happy for your own sake, but to find fulfillment in what you do, knowing that you being here and walking this earth is making a difference for other people. It's so satisfying to know that you're walking in that way. And to do that, we teach you and coach you to practice 9 different tools and strategies, incorporating them into your daily life and your ways of thinking and being. You do that also in the context as you're working to achieve specific personal and professional goals that are unique to you, that you custom create during part of that program. So you're learning the strategies and you're learning to apply these strategies to your life as you're achieving goals. And you come out on the other side of that very, very different. You can see a different future for yourself afterwards. So, we're
mhm.
pretty excited about that. Also, I recently started offering a live masterclass with some coaching and Q&A about these 3 areas and these tools. So if you'd like to be in on the next live event that I've got going on, I've got different masterclasses that I offer from time to time. Email me at hello@AnnetteChesney.com, and I'm happy to talk with you and give you some links to more info about those. Those masterclasses are free, by the way, and I do them live. So I'd love to have you join me for that. Now, tomorrow, we're going to get real. If you thought the dog's vomit wasn't real, we're going to get real again tomorrow about how hurricanes expose the positive and negative foundations of what was already in place before the storm hit. So that's going to be an interesting one. Remember, we're with you on this journey to provide some guidance and wisdom. We're going to challenge you to grow. And throughout the week, as you're pondering some of these things we've been talking about, you may have some questions, and just feel to reach out to us and email us at hello@AnnetteChesney.com. We'll be glad to chat with you. Please help out our podcast by clicking to like and subscribe. Be sure to share this episode too. And don't forget our show description, where we've got some special links and resources that you can make use of. Remember to keep going, keep taking that next right step, and we'll help you with that, because we know that your best is yet to come. We'll see you tomorrow.